twins, and we had babies 4 days apart. So let's start from the very beginning. My pregnancy was not necessarily planned. Yeah. So I get pregnant, I tell everyone, yay, woohoo. And then after she tells us, like, oh, I think I want to have a baby too. So I get pregnant like right after her, 6 weeks. Yeah, to be exact. We were 6 weeks apart, which is still really cool. My pregnancy was really easy, and yours was too for the most part until the end. When she came and saw me right before I had my baby, she was literally like so swollen, like so swollen. I was like, is she okay? Yeah. My mom and dad were like, I don't know if she's gonna make it to the end. Like, our kids are having a good time over there. So my birth went like really easy. I went home and everything was good. I started having my symptoms on like the day before she gave birth, and so I called my doctor and he was like, no, you're fine, it's gonna last the last 6 weeks of your pregnancy. And so I was like, okay, if he says I'm fine, then I'm gonna go to Idaho and see my new niece that my sister gave birth to. So I go to Idaho. 3 days in a row I was on like a big exercise ball, like trying to get rid of the pain, and like Tylenol was not doing anything either. So finally the fourth night in a row that I was up, me and my mom were like, okay, let's go to the ER. And I was supposed to go back to Utah to have my husband start his next semester of college. My blood pressure was so high, I think it was like 188 over 110 or something like that.
Like, yeah, you're gonna have a baby right now.
Yeah, but the coolest thing
and
ever.
You were how many weeks?
I was 34 weeks.
34
yeah.
weeks, yeah.
So the coolest thing ever though was my mom was like, is there any way that her sister's OB would be able to deliver her baby? And the ER nurses and stuff were like, I mean, he's a very busy doctor, we can go see. So they're literally going to call him, and then as they're going to call him, he walks into the hospital and they tell him my story, and he's like, of course. So he comes in, tells me that I have HELLP syndrome, and that my choices for having the baby were either to deliver naturally with no epidural, and I was like, frick that, I'm not doing that. Or have a C-section and be put under for like no longer than 5 minutes. And Capri was born, and she was in the NICU for like 17 days, so I was in Idaho for like, yeah, a month.
And her husband didn't go to school for a hot sec.
My husband didn't go to school for the week I was in the hospital, but then he went back to school and came back every single weekend to see Capri in the NICU.
And it was so funny because I brought like my daughter there, and she was only a couple days old, and the hospital was like super strict because they're like, is this lady supposed to be bringing this newborn baby away? Like, they had to make sure I was the mom. It was so weird, and they're like, why is she bringing a 2-day-old baby? I never knew that. Yeah, they're like, why is she bringing a 2-day-old baby to visit someone?
Yeah. Birth on a Wednesday, and then I gave birth on
Saturday.
Sunday. Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday.
Oh, Sunday, yeah. Crazy. I get the call from my mom. She's like, yeah, Brooke's getting labor right now. I was like, what the crap?
Yeah, second pregnancy went amazing.
Way better.
Not all births are bad, but
now I have 3 kids and she's got 2 kids.
And that's how we had babies 4 days apart.
The twin who had twins, she's got a girl and a boy.
We're thriving.
Thriving.
Mom life.